Afenyo Markin has been involved in visa fraud for years. And anytime Afenyo Markin say, Crower House, sa et fie honomono, dear visa fraud and all the things Nana Okakacham say at the age of 21, 22, and Otoka we know. Afenyo Markin is a long time visa fraudster. Switzerland, and as Swedish been on any visa fraud, it's been long and they've been doing it all these years. The guy's name is Pierre Jacquot. We have documents tracing as way back as 15 years. Afenyo Markin was locked up at Adabraka police station. Mumusa said, why? Afenyo Markin, he has been a game boy from day one. I was still school, 21 years no year school. He has been involved in gaming and talking about fraud, visa fraud. So our documents now have all the documents. And as I speak to you today, he's still involved in visa fraud. Nuntina, Canada Japan culture must say they wanted to make Afenyo Markin a minister, but because of Nyamba Binti, they could not make him a minister. Afenyo Markin is a hardened criminal. If you see somebody like Anamoah because Afenyo Markin is a gentleman. Anamoah is the kind of woman that you worry about money or more them.
Kevin Taylor said Afenyo Markin's a visa Fraudster. Hi, group address BD a cyber. And then first time if double more thing. I click subscribe to me. Send by a do video be now on second quick. After say a 2 banner and then come say Kevin Taylor Emma MPP for or Mansum enjoyment because of saying in Sema Yana Afenyo Markin's a parliament air canning Kevin Taylor so on man hunton until so be jai in Sema and I say Jandama Yokafa NDC in Hodia. Kevin Taylor so on my Afenyo Markin's and Tony. And on that Kevin Taylor Edin send to just say Afenyo Markin's over 15 years a visa Fraudster a Switzerland what do a month for Joe Musica on a Switzerland nibina akabumo omuwia Ghana for a Joe Musica so omoye visa amomo to coin adia Switzerland in same one or can become a Anamoah after saying Anamoah a Twitter say Afenyo Markin's a best man after say or disrespecting some George and any wife any oku jeto ablakwa tamana vetting air cost yankuti and sema Kevin Taylor can bombarding a leave comment or comment session.
It is a study from 1992. The NDC built different kinds of a message. And the message was basically to make Ghanaians believe, say, any person who is associated with the NDC or any party that is not linked to the NPP automatically is the enemy of some group of people in Ghana. And it's our study of politics now. The NPP started becoming irrelevant. Abra social media basically took over politics around the world. And that is from 2020. Or let's say before that's 2017 thereabout. When social media took over politics, when conversations were moved from traditional radio, print, when conversations were moved from marketplaces, church, pulpits, when conversations were moved from the streets onto social media where everybody could access, the NPP started becoming irrelevant in our political settings. Now, they became irrelevant because now people had access to information and people also have the same access to verify the information. So the message of the NPP became difficult to sync. They now started to struggle. Now, they still believed that when they still believed, say almost take it to the old 442 formation, the old format of inciting people against a group of people who belong to a political party or creating the impression that a political party that isn't NPP is against the people who support NPP. They were going to have their way. Now, the mistake the NDC and we Ghanaians made from 1992 all the way to 2012, let's say 2012, was that we had allowed NPP and any surrogates, any omomtiti radios, any TV, so to get away with a lot of lies. So when lies are told consistently or continuously, they somehow start to look like the truth. And at a point, Ghanaians believed in things that they believed in things that did not exist. And they say, Obi creative bibia to Tim say, with all due respect, we see baby amount. Na sa baby ne de a hono your last point into obra obon wahana, it does not matter. Say unye Christoni, ana unye Muslimi, ana unye Jew ni, ana won sumbosom. Na say bi kra obi sombosoma, So we a Christian na bosom sumni ne approach you. No catch us say, eya bosom na osum no or effective. Bosom na aboa no mane to mesi dan. Bosom na aboa no mane to ne Marco school. Bosom na aboa no amane to me ayi nyoma bi, and I'm not speaking against obi osum bosom. It applies to other religion. Ebi a we Muslimi, Christo ni betuma be catch us say, on pesa we ye Christo ni because Christo sum no aboa no mana say. Ebi a Muslim ni betuma approach obi a osum bosom akachen say eye nkremosom no aboa no amana ye say wenya we. Now the first time the person approaches you actually come out and tell the person say oboa mesom na metim ne ye. But when that person consistently push that agenda in your head, say ne som no eye chen wo som no, it gets to a point you start to question wo som. For all you know, there are so many things in that osuma obwa, but he just wants you to come join him. Into consistently, say ostatika to with him. Say nesumni ya chen wasumna. Asumna uwomno. Dia unya wasa osumni kura. You will not value it. You will think say it is not enough. So you will still feel say that person nesumno better than wasumno, and that is Adia MPP yeah from 1992. And from 1992, the NPP, the NDC all came out to campaign. But for some reason, the NPP for messaging now was that NDC for you to travel. Omo free soldier buying when the buy into be or joining NDC biano sebio or for soldier buying into a so. But remember, NPP as a political party, all the coups are a see Ghana and Sana JJ Rawlings Ebeku 1979 and 1982 or 83, no. Now all the coups now Ghana no. The NPP that has changed its name to become NPP today, no. They were involved in every single coup that had happened in this country. About 6 coups, the NPP were in there. But for some reason, 1992, yaba democracy, no. All that the NPP preached was that PNDC, NDC, to join NDC, to training. They did not talk about JB Dankwa's involvement in the previous coup. See how Dankwa Busia Dombomo were part. They masterminded the killing of Nkrumah. How they made sure Kotokamo any a free famo any omokana omuye soja for muye kuno. They don't talk about that because they wanted you to believe something that did not exist. Into from 1992, majority of Ghanaians did not even understand why NDC war, because they created that impression, and it was a consistent doctrine. It was a persistent doctrine. It was a doctrine that was done not just on the street. It was also infused into our education. Because who will be to say he was the man behind the social studies books. So all the books that we read, time and year what JHS, primary, do this time, no, social studies, no, all the history, we thought people wrote to make sure, say, our past is being recorded and archived, you know. Edubwa Hinana or a founding member of the MPP, no, they made sure, say, when they write or they were writing about Ghana's history when it came to politics, you know, they made sure, say, everything was centered on the actions of the PNDC era. They did not put a lot of emphasis on Efrifa, on Kotoka, on the other coups that happened before JJ Rawlings. Because when they emphasize on those coups, what will happen? And they say, now the young people will start to understand, they say, the PNDC JJ Rawlings era, no, it wasn't bad. Because, say, the 1979 coup and the 1982-83 coup, now, that was the coup that brought us to independence. But the coups that were orchestrated and sponsored by the NPP UP, and the Omo Jankwabuzia group, now, those coups, it did not pave way for Kebimami Kebi in Ghana. That is why Edubwa Hindems moved away or never emphasized on the previous coups, but emphasized on the 1979 coup, 1983 coup, because they wanted the young people coming up. That's the indoctrination. They wanted the young people like us coming up, to believe, say, the NDCP, the PNDC, NDC, or JJ Rawlings PNDC were evil, and that anybody who tries to entertain the history of PNDC, not JJ Rawlings, that person or your mambo for. A certain generation never associated themselves with the NDC, because the moment you do that, you are seen as somebody who supports crime. And it's like when you went into our various universities, our tertiary institutions, you saw few people being part of NDC youth groups. They were scared to be part of it because we had already been brainwashed in our primary schools and our senior high schools before entering our tertiary institutions. So the moment you try to join such a group, you yourself started feeling guilty because some people will see you say, now we're joining NDC. And that was how the Jandam started. That was how the brainwash started. And that is how the NPP became relevant from 1992 to 2024. Now, the NPP started becoming irrelevant in our politics in 2012. From 2012, people like myself and other people around Ghana or around the world started asking questions. In fact, those questions were being asked, but they were not asked so much. People did not persist. People did not push the system to give them answers. Into who will be to say Kwabena Japan or MPP Moa. What made him famous, or his springboard? Ojina so or the Kwabena Japan be general secretary MPP Moa say or Kachenko for say nani papa PNDC for kuno no a lawyer or a judge. You see a riffraff like Paul Anamoah. You see somebody like Kweku Baku. So when you look at the people who were doing the talking for a NPP, they were not directly speaking for the NPP as official NPP spokespeople, but they were speaking as if said, those people from CPP, from other political parties, they were all speaking against the PNDC, NDC because those people used that history to become relevant in our politics. And the Kwabena Japan say, "Oh, because the DNA money relevant to Ghana politics." But say, "Oh, Kwabena Japan and Papa a judge in Kuno Rawlings time." You say, na Kweku Baako so Kweku Baako waka Ghana politics or a journalist because you see JJ Rawlings and Breno ya chiri tumu. And there are so many of them in the system. They use that to become relevant. Now, from 2012, ABC 2016, the system na ebusa questions. The young people started asking questions. Social media was becoming a little powerful. So now the NPP started getting jittery. That was when they brought Ekufuado again. Now they had to devise another strategy. And that strategy was that if the people are now asking questions, let's use the same medium where they are going to use to get the answers to go after them. When I say after them, to convince them that the questions they are asking wasn't relevant. So the NPP adopted another strategy. They went into investing in the media. They went into tapping into the traditional media to do their bidding for them. At a point, you realize, they bought a lot of radio stations around the nation. Now they put their tribal boys and girls on it. And the agenda was that let the people, the young people asking questions. Because that time, Ash FM, Peace FM, Angel FM, Inshira FM, FM. So Abubusa questions now, find a way to let them know, say, the questions they were asking wasn't relevant. And that your version of the answer is irrelevant. Into which best no panako kroko kwam sefa kan to Kweku Baako to Openye Jekum to their job is to let you believe, say, as some to Kweku Baako no, you should never forget to say Kweku Baako ya chini tumu. Into JJ Rawlings and in the party nasi for their murderers. Kwame Sefa was sit there and play the neutral, but the agenda was there to make sure the NDC and people who are asking questions about how our democracy came by, they have been given an answer. It will still sound to say the NDC is evil. Into the NPP used another strategy by investing in the media and using the media that was supposed to tell us the truth. Now the media was lying to the people of Ghana. In tobacco radio, so TV, so what they do is that the journalists now, you people respected and relied on for information that has been verified, the jandam was there. A honana jandam no, ye groomy jandam no. So the journalists, the so-called radio stations and the so-called journalists, they were polluting the system. And from 2012 all the way to 2016, it was tough for anybody to go out there and ask questions and get the right answer. They might be answering you, but the answer wasn't the correct answer. They were giving you answers that will still make the NDC look horrible in your eyes. In Tobacco campuses, majority of the young people did not want to associate themselves with the NDC, but they loved the NDC. They believed and they saw they compared the two political parties. They knew, said the NDC was for good, but they were afraid and shy to associate or affiliate with the NDC because they will be seen as misfits in the community on the campus they live. 2016, luckily, the internet started getting stronger. Now, social media became powerful. Every single room had a phone. Every single pocket was carrying a phone. Now, news was being put out there without restrictions. People were able to Google stuff and get immediate answer or instant answer on social media. Now, the NPP started becoming weak. Their message started depleting. Now, they were struggling to let the people believe in the lies. So after they won power in 2017, they needed to be consistent in that inconsistency. And when I say the inconsistency, how they were able to tell lies to become consistent. So they were still stuck to the 442 formation of doing what? Using the power they have gotten in 2017 to still lie to the people. Until you realize, 2017, the Kufuado and the MPP bar power. People started asking serious questions. The first thing he did was to give majority of journalists in Ghana positions in government. And the last minute, everybody was sorted because they knew, say, now social media has come to stay. The people, how are we going to stop this? The media was given what they wanted, and that was money. They were given positions. They moved Kwame Sefa-Kaine to the board, our MPA board, Paul Anamoah to the Media Commission. Later, he was moved to Ghana Airport. They moved Egbert Fable to Petroleum Commission. They moved that guy who was at Cocoa Board to Cocoa Board. They moved all of them around because they wanted to seal the mouth that was going to answer the questions of the ordinary Ghanaian. Because majority of Ghanaians were asking questions and they were asking the so-called journalists who have done their research to give them the answer. Until the NPP started becoming irrelevant from 2017, January 7th. Near to Ghana. Now, the whole idea was that in summer in 2012, 14, 15, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, we need power no. They wanted a way to continue with that agenda. And in summer they talked about John Mahama being a criminal. They talked about John Mahama going to buy hotels in Dubai. They talked about John Mahama's brothers. They talked about NDC Phoebe going to take money. They talked about so many things. Now they had to keep that momentum. How were they going to keep the momentum? Because the young people were asking questions. The young people were asking for verified documents. The young people were putting questions that you could not ignore. So now the job was for Kuku Baku Dems, was for Kwame Sefa-Kaine Dems, it was for Paul Anamoah, it was for NPP surrogates, Omditi radio, so many journalists, to explain. Say when they no when they no. Now the problem they had was that the young people could go check and fact check to know the truth. So they had one option to tell them the truth, and they were not willing to tell the people the truth. So now it became difficult for them. The young people decided to, at the end of the day, go their way and find the truth. Courtesy social media, courtesy access to information. Make sure how the NPP right now is not relevant and it's a party. So you're Ghana in there, that's a order who NPP there. With all due respect, why do you form the way Jimmy? And it's from 2017 to 2025. A party that won, a party that said it won the election with a gap in 2016 for about 1.2 million, so 1.3 million. 2020 elections, that party at the end of the day lost majority of its parliamentary seat. It was struggling to win the elections. Why? Because from 2016 to 2020, the NPP could not sell the jandam. The 2020 elections, they lost the elections. They had to kill 8 people to win the elections. They had to manipulate the system, manipulate the numbers through the Electoral Commission to force them their way through. They had to use the Supreme Court to win that elections. Is it not surprising that when we win elections in 2016, the party that was in power dropped all the way to 106? You had full control of parliament. Now, you come to 2020, you have a hung parliament. The party that was the worst party, you people made the people believe. Senkan semna mokafa NDC woni John Mahama woni PNDC wono. If it was accurate, senanka enokra, what the change ya in just 4 years. The seat at NDC was 106 moved all the way to 137. What actually changed? It was because they were not able to defend their lies. Atrona Ahmad power no. Atrona MPP the budget power no. They could not defend it the first 4 years. Now the next 4 years or the second 4 years of Ekufuado ne Bawumiano. The first 4 years, even Nana Danko Ekufuado was being sworn in January 7, 2020, 2017. His statement, his speech was plagiarized. The first day he was being sworn in, the first day he was being given the nod to enter office as the president of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Danko Ekufuado, his speech, every single statement he made, it was stolen. He did not have an original statement, an original speech that had been written from his heart, that he's going to have a social contract to the people of Ghana. Nana Ekufuado, because everything that was built around him was a lie. He could not even put together a legitimate, honest speech to tell you and I and why we should be proud of him and support him as a president. And the first speech, acceptance speech, or his speech to the nation was plagiarized. A speech I will call from other heads of states. So that gave you a signal that the party itself did not have any organic idea. They have never used the truth to lead or to come to power. From 2017 to 2020 elections, Nana Danko Ekufuado and MPP almost say they came with NAPCO, they came with One District, One Factory, all the flagship programs. 2020 elections, Nana Danko Ekufuado struggled. Mahamudu Bawumia lied. So you could see from 1992, the party has been a party. They have always been relevant. Anytime we allow lies to take the lead in our conversation. Anytime I say the MPP started becoming irrelevant when lies, jandam, fake news, misinformation, disinformation was stopped in Ghana politics. The results we saw or we just witnessed in the 2024 elections, it's a clear manifestation that truth will lead this nation and that the NPP can never make its way back into the Jubilee House because they are not ready and willing to speak truth to the people of Ghana. Today, Ubusamu say, why do you still want to come back to power? They can't tell you. Ubusamu say, they can't tell you. Because when they came into office, they thought to say, Atrono was going to be the only thing that could keep them in power. Till date, all the things they said, all the allegations and the information they put out, they have not been able to verify even one. In Ghana politics right now, the NPP is not relevant. We are not supposed to make the NPP a party we can think with and I say reason around. It is no more a political party. They are a group of ignorant, tribalistic idiots filled with ego, thinking that we are still stupid, thinking say yedahoti bajimimbrem, and that when they incite a group of people to believe say sa group no are better than anybody else who is part of another party, and then the bemo more relevant, it should tell you say the party itself does not have any principles. They did not build a party on anything that can last. And it's not today. There's nobody in the MPP who say they don't have anything like that. They don't have it because in the first place, there was no party that was rallying around any ideology. They were a group of people with different interests who basically lied their way through to power. And they are still struggling. They are still struggling with that. And the issue is, because they are not ready to admit that their party was built out of lies, they will never get out of lies. They will be stuck in the lie bud for a very long time because politics has changed. People now ask questions. People now vote based on what they see, the facts that they see. People just don't vote because they have heard a name of a political party or they've heard a name of an individual. No, people vote based on the facts. Yati asem ewo parliament. And sa asem no a statement biya NPP minority led by Afenyo Markin. And it's become a conversation and the obia edi san komoni bi. And in common say obia tina parliament on the NPP side. Abra ex-president JJ Rawlings or the democracy by ya and the ohini bi organ bia you recognize no. And let me state these facts. And can JJ Rawlings and ohini bi enu Ghana recognizing the say oyohini. No chief or queen mother and can JJ Rawlings 1992 as the leader of this country or may moving from a military rule to a democratic ruler and ohini bi enu Ghana ha you recognize no. So, JJ Rawlings led administration and as a decisioner or dictated Sabema Ghana a democratic state. And kayeni a woman and constitutional yenina as a nation we can basically live with or respect to build this nation. It does not matter. It does not matter how you see JJ. It does not matter how you hate or dislike him. So can you the same JJ Rawlings and you and I and can tia. Inti say yes as a people. Now you're discussing Ghana today. Ye JJ Rawlings frima enye because he's the bile of our democracy. Anybody who contests this statement is basically somebody who does not even understand the democracy he or she is enjoying in Ghana today. Me say JJ Rawlings, nobody can take him out of our politics. And from Nsema Yati or Ghana ha, from 1979, JJ Rawlings buy a politics him, and I say a young man trying to save his nation. Nobody has been able to bring one evidence. One. Say JJ Rawlings said way. Nobody. As I sit here, Mihumbi. Every single statement about JJ Rawlings has been speculation. And where did the speculation start? It started from the NPP camp. J.A. Kufuor president. His agenda was to come and make sure JJ Rawlings faces firing squad. But he could not do it because we have a democratic nation. So he wanted to use us the people to kill JJ Rawlings. Into J.A. Kufuor by an Obeti Reconciliation Committee or Commission. He wanted his own people to come and nail JJ on the cross. But nobody in Ghana. Remember, time at J.A. Kufuor power, that JJ Rawlings was a military man. Not only peso crash at home. JJ Rawlings was an ordinary Ghanaian. Not the salary crack of one. Nobody in Ghana was able to stand on TV or even on any platform to say, I have this evidence. Say, nobody till date. So nobody has the right. Nobody in Ghana has the right to try and denigrate JJ Rawlings. You have the right to your opinions. You can say whatever you want to say. But to make a statement without facts backing it, and not just a statement against any person, a statement against a man who through him, you and I, yet parliament tender, kwasiebi edge salary, Kwasiebi ne nemba to be kwabrochi in the name of diplomatic passport. Kwasiebi to be hospital ekonya some preferential treatment. And I say some special treatment because democracy inti Kwasiano MP. So we are giving those people that treatment the ordinary Ghanaian on the street will not get. And yet JJ Rawlings anka none of the MPs in parliament, none of these people will be human today. Because it was through JJ Rawlings our adopted democracy and the mania parliament and the to shemra ema nipa omo parliament no enyasa protection no as citizens of this country omo pecs ni ade. Now there's something going on. You see, the NPP as a political party is being led by a thief. And when I say a thief, I'm talking about Afenyo Markin. Okay? Afenyo Markin, he has been an old criminal. And I'll be exposing Afenyo Markin, Where would him Afenyo Markin be? Busan say, Akrowa house. A dear fraud nana oyen woho. Afenyo Markin has been involved in visa fraud for years. Oh, say at the age of this, at the age of that, and I'm a top track, and I'm be a company. It's all a lie. Afenyo Markin has been involved in visa fraud for years. Switzerland. And anytime I say Musa Afenyo Markin say, Crower House, sa et fear hormono, a dear visa fraud and all all the things na okakachem say at the age of 21, 22, and or talk we know. Afenyo Markin is a long time visa fraudster. Now, Switzerland, and as Swedish been on any visa fraud, it's been long and they've been doing it all these years. The guy's name is Pierre Jacquot. Pierre Jacquot. Afenyo Markin knows. I've gone and we have documents tracing us way back as 15 years. How Afenyo Markin, only just Pierre Jacquot, came together. You see, even at a point, Afenyo Markin was locked up at Adabraka police station. Mumusa said, why? Afenyo Markin, he has been a game boy from day one. I also go school, 21 years no real school. He has been involved in gaming. Talking about fraud, visa fraud. Switzerland. Mesidi pana on any visa for a friend, Pierre Jacquot. Pierre Jacquot, visa fraud, Switzerland. A ho and a target no. Mesidi Musa Afenyo Markin say, a day and they arrested no and then they call Abdabraka police station. The docket is there. He should tell us why. Sa documents now say Sakogu ni ma amifie no. I have all the documents. And he said, ubusa the questions about his life. He hides behind at the age of 21 and I'm be a company and I'm a multi-million-dollar contract is lying. Oh, see, I bet you years back, a car na or day. He has been involved in visa fraud for years. But I'll take my time and let you know who Afenyo Markin is. And as I speak to you today, he's still involved in visa fraud. Yes. Mr. Mumusa says Crower House. What happened at Crower House? Mumusa say a place your friend Adabraka police station. Then the maniko pia locking up there and no sheho. Ye chain sheho. Onim Pierre Jacquot. One of the most craziest visa fraudsters around the world. At a point, Mamika Bibincho. Afenyo Markin, this is how he said he secured those monies. The companies no be no. He was calling banks and telling the banks to say a JA Kufuor and amano banks the number say on free for this amount of money. Mumusa Afenyo Markin say me boa. Afenyo Markin could call a bank because he did not have a financial strength for the money he wanted. Or to me, frere, no, I catch him say, I could phone a castle on frere or more. Now, or the Kufuor ding, and Nuntina, not Canada Japan catch them say, They wanted to make Afenyo Markin a minister, but because of Nyamba Binti, they could not make him a minister. Afenyo Markin is a hardened criminal. All these things were there. We didn't want to talk about it, but until he decided to let some people think, say, or no, or you clean, on Bokrono, on Yewi, we are going to make the world know who Afenyo Markin is. Mr. Mumusan said, does he know Pierre Jacqua? And Akrowa House, what was happening there? And Mumusan said, then he ended up at Adabraka police station. He was arrested. He almost got jailed. May the documents be sure the number of people Afenyo Markin Switzerland visa frauder will do Piomo. I am bringing this in because you see, Afenyo Markin or a diabolic individual. You started vetting, so what study BBI, and I'm coming to what happened in Parliament. You started vetting we. How many times now Afenyo Markin are apologizing to different people? Let me tell you, a fraudster is not scared to apologize. A fraudster does not care to apologize. So be a fraud, no bunipa. The easiest thing for that person to say is, I am sorry. Because they know that I'm sorry I am saying to you, you are going to let your guard down. You started that way. How many people na Afenyo Markin catch up and say, I am sorry? About 7 people. Why do you think every minute he says, I am sorry, he comes back to do the same thing? Because he sees you people, somewhere Jimmy. A fraudster, catch up and say, I am sorry. And to say, oh, DP Oba online. And later telling the Oba, say, I am sorry, I don't know what happened. And the man, it is easy for him. Because the moment he tells you, I am sorry, you just let your guard down. And that is what he has done. And to say, go back to that and start saying, Afenyo Markin has apologized to Ablakwa. He has apologized to Ablakwa's wife. He has apologized to the clerk of parliament on the committee. Afenyo Markin has apologized to so many. Every single day he apologized, and it's easy. You know why it is easy? Because there's nothing attached to that. I am sorry. It is a game. It is a game to him. Afenyo Markin tomorrow will come to parliament again and say, I'm sorry. It is normal because he knows that what he's doing, he's going to do it again. So, Obia Obu, and intina when somebody like Anamoah, Ebejina Twitter can say Afenyo is a gentleman because Afenyo deliberately decided to destroy Okujato Ablakwa's marriage, deliberately decided to destroy Sam George's marriage. But who say because the damage he has done it. And because I'm sorry. If you see somebody like Anamoah because Afenyo Markin is a gentleman. Anamoah is the kind of woman that you worry on money a boo more them. Ya buo mwa anopa na ya tokoko 1 cup na wanom osimi kunu dome enti sa ebro na okom no ya di koko 1 cup ne man ni refi. That is the kind of person Afenyo Markin is. And it will be to say Nana Anamoah will come on Twitter and say Afenyo is a gentleman. What did he do? He has apologized the 90th time. He has apologized the 20th time. Into your banner won yes smarter. Now I agree with former. You might think say Afenyo Markin, the sorry he says he means it. He does not mean any of them. That is the game he plays. Afenyo Markin can lie. And then the next day you say, oh, I am sorry I said this to you. He's just saying I'm sorry, but he knows the damage he has done. And I'm telling you, on Parliament way, every 2 weeks, Afenyo Markin will render an apology to somebody because that's the game to him. There's no attachment to it. And so when you get, with all due respect, lazy brain girls like Nana Abamo, when they see this kind of actions, a man, are you not scared that one man can apologize in a week like 4 times? Are you not scared of that man? How do you end up saying he's a gentleman? You are the kind of woman, Bema to be the mokosha them, now wa molest mo, a break mo, a repimo. Adia chia no akoto mo kubakwama, no better social media say, such a gentleman. 2 days to abasa buoku, because you don't even understand the game he's playing with you. And that is what Afenyo Markin has been doing. I'm a man, I know what I'm talking about. Next week, he will come to Parliament. He will come and do what? Apologize for some stupid thing he has done. Listen, Afenyo Markin had an agenda. There was a deliberate attempt to destroy our warrior. Yes. Sam George and then there was a deliberate attempt to destroy their marriage. They know you need the whole. He knew what he was doing. He knew, so, oh, I'm sorry, madam. I'm sorry, madam. It's easy for him to say, I'm sorry. Real men find it difficult to put out, I'm sorry, because that sorry, if it does not come from a special place, it does not come out easily. When people use I'm sorry easily, there are people who are dangerous, and you have to be careful about those people. And they say, you having somebody in your life every single day, I love you, I love you, I love you. When they use the I love you without thinking about it, those people can harm you any day. The I love you and I am sorry should come from a special place, meaning I am not going to go back to that again. But you see, because foolish men and weak-minded girls begin to say, this is how it should be. Obi Jimmy Hunde was say Obi, I am sorry. It is that is the time of weakness. I am promising you this. Afenyo Markin will come to Parliament next week. He will come and render an apology. And then he will go back home and come back and fool again. Because when we say, ye Jimmy. Now, when was some issue of Parliament, Pierre Jacou, Mumusa Afenyo Markin say, does he know Pierre Jacou? Pierre Jacou. Me say, visa fraud, Switzerland visa fraud. I have all the documents. We've been able to enter Switzerland. Afenyo Markin, we will let every Ghanaian know, say, or you're fraudster, or you're criminal. Go on his Twitter page and ask him, Afenyo Markin, do you know Pierre Jacou? Pierre Jacou. Have you been involved in Switzerland visa fraud? And then I Japan air catch him in one of his videos that they cannot make Afenyo Markin a minister because of some things that they know.